We did receive a question in our wife economics submit a question, and today that is a first. So thank you for submitting that question. And my wife is going to go ahead and elaborate on that question.
Yeah, okay.
So you want me to read the
So,
question? I'll read the
well,
question.
I'm going to pull it up on the screen first. I want to share the screen. Sharing our screen. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So
And,
here we
and
go.
so it reads: Do you have a? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you serve a divine husband course so men know how to treat their partner, or are you just fixated on quote unquote fixing women?
Yeah. Well, that is a great question. I want to zoom in so people can see. There we go. And I can also see. So, the question: do you serve a divine husband course? Well, no, not in particular. I think that the manosphere so far has offered a lot of great tools for men to better themselves. Though a divine husband course is very interesting take on that, but thank you. First off, Sophia, for your question. That is a great question. And in particular, I like that you went ahead and initiated the idea of knowing more, wanting to know more. I think, especially as wives, sometimes when we get into situations, especially if we're younger, we're not, and we didn't see examples of a healthy relationship or how to navigate as a wife, it can be quite difficult on understanding you, your feminine abilities, and how you can work in unison, in unity with a man. So I did take some notes on this because I really wanted to dive into this and give you the acknowledgement that you do deserve, because I do hear you and what seems to be frustration at your husband not caring for you the way you want him to, or loving you the way you want him to. So I hear that. And it's real, and we're all entitled to feel the way we feel. But I think the most important thing that the wife economics course focuses on is not fixing women, but helping them to gain a deeper understanding of their own powers. Your ability to initiate and ask this question is a prime example of your ability to step forth into change. So, in particular, I do not want to blame men or women for all the problems that we see going on within the disharmony between men and women, what seems like. Um, but I also, at the same time, don't want to put all the work on us as women to fix our relationships. Men either. I don't want to put all the work on them either. A relationship is really two people who come together to work on things and to build a relationship and work together, put in work together. That's very key and very important. But in particular, we must acknowledge the reality that there are times where we, or in particular, one partner or spouse, is better equipped to bring about, thank you, to
You're
bring
welcome.
about positive change within a relationship, and to even cultivate an environment where you can transform not only your life, but all of your relationships by simply acknowledging that everything starts within. So, wife economics really just recognizes the innate, natural, unique, divine qualities that all women have been given and ingrained deep within us, that actually helps us in our ability to be nurturing, to be inspiring, to being caring, to being empathetic, to being understanding, to being patient and being kind. I think all of those qualities, I don't know if you're a mother, but if you are a mother, I'm sure you have cultivated those qualities when you raise your children, because naturally, as a woman and as a mother, you take on those qualities for your children. Now, in the same manner, I hear men often say, well, a woman will never love you like your mother. That's not true when the sense of if a woman can acknowledge her divine femininity within herself. And please understand, femininity, I'm not talking about beauty outwardly. I'm talking about beauty within, acknowledging who you are as a woman and your natural beauty inside, being kind, being loving, being empathetic, being understanding. Those abilities, how we can nurture those skills within us naturally to get more, not only from our man, but just more in general from what we want from life. Another point is that wifeconomics looks to educate, because through proper education can we elevate ourselves to the higher level of what would be a solution if you are in a state where you are at a problem. So where you are at now, wife, if I may, I guess assume, is a problem. But if you could allow yourself to just step above into the power that you have within you to recognize there were things that I loved about my husband, or else I wouldn't have married him. Hopefully you have that. If not, then we have a bigger problem than, we can get into, because choosing is a big part of a woman's ability to go into a relationship without fear. If she can choose wisely, she can then trust and lean into her husband to lead and guide her in her relationship. And then that will be able to also allow her to want to inspire this man if he isn't working at his optimum best that she may usually see him at, or that she may have seen him at in the past, possibly why she wanted to be with him. So just the idea of recognizing that there's a lot of power within you is what wifeconomics acknowledges, and bringing in the divine aspect of when you allow yourself to operate within harmony of what God has intended for the union of a man and a woman, and your natural abilities that were given to you, your divine feminine abilities that were given to you. When you are obedient to that, you gain favor by God. I'm not one to quote the Bible, but you gain favor and protection. So, as a wife, if your husband so happens to fall short of his duties, but you are able to remain strong as a steady cord within the harmony of the relationship, your husband is then able to bounce off of that and, in a way, bounce back, because you aren't contributing to the disharmony, but instead recognizing your ability to stand strong in what you are supposed to do as a wife. So that's just another point on that. And then also, acknowledge your integrity, and your boldness to do so will also help you gain the confidence in your abilities to inspire your husband, gain the confidence in your abilities to direct and encourage growth within your relationship. One person, I know we all think, oh, one person can't do much in a two-person relationship. You'd really be surprised how much our outer relationship reflects what's going on within us. So if we can focus on the things within us, cultivating an environment of peace, an environment of patience, an environment of hope, an environment of just kindness, and able to the ability to sit back and allow the solution to take place, not create resistance and anything that will contribute to the disharmony. But if you can just stand in that ability, you will be more confident when you see the results of the change that will come about. It will. There's no way that you can't change the way you are doing something and there not be a equal effect because of it. That's just, it's natural science. So if you are able to step out of what you had been doing and maybe try something else, you're already married, you're already in your situation, you're here, right? Sickness and health, to death do you part. That also means you may not be happy all the time. You know, I'm not quite sure your vows. Maybe you did put happiness in your vows, but you're not always going to be 100% happy if you're allowing what your husband is doing or not doing and to impact you and your mental space and your ability to be happy and at peace with what's going on. So I know that was a kind of dense response to such a short question, but I really wanted you to see and gain understanding that in no way do I think any woman needs to be fixed. I think that we haven't had opportunities to really learn and understand and cultivate the skills of what it takes to make a marriage last a lifetime. Men and women are different. We are distinctly different. We need to learn about our differences and then how we can work in unison and bring our differences together to create something beautiful, to play our own unique roles in what is a bigger, much bigger plan than you can ever imagine. So if you could just understand your ability as a woman within yourself, especially when you choose to be a wife, and the great power that is then given to you if you stand in this, recognize it, and accept it. You've already shown your great bravery by submitting a question on the website. So thank you for doing that. And I also encourage you to go further. You could schedule a consultation with us. We'll take couples on too. I think it's nice if you have an issue with your spouse to bring them along. Honesty and communication is huge when it comes to cultivating change. So maybe there is some dialogue that you may need help facilitating, and we will be more than happy to do this. So just, thank you again. Call into the show if you, I don't know, you submitted the question online, so I don't know if you would be even bolder to call into the show if scheduling a consultation is not something that you could do. But call into the show and we'll talk about it then. But again, I don't think as a woman I am equipped to tell a man how to be a man, but I pretty confident in my ability to equip you with your understanding and skills of how to become a feminine asset and inspire change and create one of the best relationships you can create for yourself, your kids, and even your community when you really, really tap into yourself. So thank you again. I have ranted on to this. Babe, do you have anything to say in response to this question?
No, well said, honey. No, yeah, I do. I have something to add to that because what I see is this. Like my wife said, the men have a lot of support as far as husbands. I believe, we have the barbershop talks. We have other men and mentors in our community that we can talk to as far as husbands go, and then also our wives. I mean, we look to our wives through proper communication. So if there's anything that needs to be, I guess, taught to men who are already in relationships, it's more so understanding your wife, I believe. Because let me drop this on you. In our first video, we stated a lot of statistics on why we started this channel, and then also why my wife started the Wifeconomics courses for culturing women to be wives, to equip them with tools to help further their relationships, and then ultimately to stay in their relationships. That is the whole goal of marriage. So one of the statistics that brought all of this into full circle for me was the fact that 80% of divorces are initiated by women. And I say that because that was one of the main importance of my wife creating this Wifeconomics course, was that we are inspiring the change of those statistics and trying to bring these statistics down. Why is it that 80% of women are initiating divorce? What we had uncovered in that first video was the fact that the number one reason why people are getting divorced is irreconcilable differences. That could be a multitude of things. But ultimately, what that means is that you all are not getting along. That's it. And then the woman decides, 80% of the women in divorce situations decide to get a divorce and no longer, and they quit on the relationship. So what Wifeconomics does, it allows women to better themselves, allows women to better communicate, and ultimately what it does, it helps to save marriages. It helps to save families by proper education and understanding their spouse. That's what Wifeconomics does. We are not trying to fix anyone by all means, because to be honest with you, this is a self-help course. So all we're doing is unpacking all of the tools that you need. It is up to you to want to take it and apply it into wisdom in your relationship. That's the bottom line. So no, we're not interested in fixing anybody, to be honest with you. I'm not interested in fixing anyone. My wife isn't, because quite frankly, we can't fix anyone. What we're trying to let you all understand is that it's up to you to want to care about these statistics, care about the fact that 46% of children growing up in America are growing up in single parent households. We want to care that because of these children growing up in these single parent households, they have a higher risk of incarceration rates, dropping out of school, illiteracy, failing, mental disease, a shorter lifespan. That's what we're doing here. We're doing this all for the future and then also for the children, because the children didn't ask to be here. I didn't ask to be here, and I'm a product of a single parent household. And we had to trial and error things in order to get things fixed. But Wifeconomics gets rid of the trial and error portion of it, because we are giving you the tools so that you don't have to walk into your first marriage blind, women, not understanding what red flags are when you date.
Not even understanding men.
Right. Or not even understanding men in general.
Even you said that the main part was that we're not trying to fix people. And that's so true, because it was Gandhi who said, be the change who you want to see in the world.
Right.
So that meant that you can't change people. The only thing that you can do is change yourself. The only thing. And understand, change isn't always bad. Change is growth. Change is life. You grow and you understand, and then you are able to make better decisions and ultimately have a better life.
Right.
Wifeconomics in particular looks to deeper the understanding of a woman with her natural feminine ability to be a wife. There has never been a course that taught us how to be a wife, but how many feminism classes are out here?
Right. I mean, that's in college.
How many? Right. How many? Where are the wife courses? And then we wonder why 80% of wives don't feel supported, that they leave their marriage. They give up. You give up. And I'm pretty sure they didn't want to give up, Right. But you don't feel supported. You don't feel like you know what to do. You don't know what else to do.
But give up.
You don't know what else to do. Right. Because nobody else has bothered telling us what else to do. But then we wonder why our kids are struggling with relationships, why our society looks the way it does. Marriage is on a huge decline, but marriage statistically is the best way to raise a family. What in the world? Are we stopping the human race? Is that what we're doing? Or are we just going to continue perpetuating this cycle of single family houses, hurt people, hurting more people, or either people that's not even living up to their potential because they didn't have the inspiration from their father in the household. They didn't have the feminine example of seeing a mother being loved by a man, or a father, a man being loved by a woman, being inspired by a woman. Single mamas often have a hard time giving that love and inspiration to their children because they're so worn out. So we're lacking that. We're missing that. But that's what this does. Would you rather read your manual to your camera before or after you started playing with it? Before you started recording stuff, before you started doing stuff? Well, you don't bother reading the manual. You just say, wait, I'm gonna just go through it and keep flicking with stuff until I figure it out. Or would you rather have the manual? Would you rather read the manual? Successful things that have not only helped us in our marriage and keeping our marriage going, things that other people have done within their marriage, wives have tools that they have used to help troubleshoot hard issues. 2 weeks within the Wife Economics course, a whole 2 weeks is focusing on simply communication and nothing more. Communication and troubleshooting communication within your relationship, because it's so important. It's so important in just troubleshooting and understanding that not everything requires you to give up. You don't have to all the time. And then on top of it, let's equip young girls with what they need to know with how to choosing the proper husband, what a man is, understanding what a righteous man looks like ahead of time. We all want to know what that is. Young girls need to know too. How many young girls out here got their daddies in their home and helping them scout these men and choose the correct husbands? If you don't have that, then you definitely need this course. Because then you're going to be picking those wrong men, those same men that we talked about all week. Those wrong, not for you, not for your best interest, not for your growth, not for your sustainability. Sorry for my rant. Not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. Seriously. Green lights. Let's get back into our topic. I guess that's a good way to segue in. Seriously though, thank you for this question. Any other questions? Instagram, you can't quite see. If you tune into our YouTube, you could see the question that was submitted. Thank you for the question. I really wanted to take time on this question so that people understood that we really are doing this for the community. No other reason, like minus except our kids, trying to create more relationships so that our children are growing up in a better environment and are also able to go and build relationships with other people, other good families, come together and create other stronger communities, stronger nations. Well, what's all this? Why we want to get weaker? Why don't we want to grow stronger? Why don't we want to do the things that will help us grow stronger? I guess that's a good segue into the green lights of a relationship, because these are the things that are very strong. These are the things that will hold you through in a relationship, and that if you recognize them and you see them in a person, you be ready to go.